Hello everyone, Taylorson here and welcome to stage 13 of our Tour de France playthrough on the Tour de France 2026 game, and it might be a day for GC change. Pogacar leads the way, 13 seconds ahead of Ayuso in second, Remco Evenepoel at 1 minute 13, with Jonas Vingegaard just over 2 minutes down in fourth. Today's stage though might be destined for the breakaway. We're going from Dole to Belfort, 207 kilometres and only 2 climbs on the menu, so plenty of time for a breakaway to gain some time up the road.
Hello everyone. The Tour enters the Vosges Mountains with a long stage of over 200 kilometres. A climb up the Ballon d'Alsace at the end of the stage rules out the possibility of a bunched finish and should give free rein to the baroudeurs. Places in the early breakaway will therefore be highly sought after.
We have one rider for the job, and at the moment he looks like the perfect rider to be in there, because this is a talented breakaway of 11 riders, but they are all climbers, and Skujinš being in this breakaway should be the best in a sprint. It is a very good group though of 11. You can already see Caruso and Castrillo, but we've got Bernal, Storer, Van Wilder, Tejada, Izagirre, Paripantra, Caruso, Van Aertveld and Uiterbrooks in the group, alongside Toms Skujinš, who will hopefully show these guys how to complete a sprint in the leading group. So we're going to come to the front in time for the sprints to be launched, and Tejada does exactly that. We're going to try and get onto the wheel with Skujinš, and in fact we might just go straight past because they aren't great sprinters, and that is a sign that things might just go well on this stage. If we can get over the climb with Skujinš, we are going to be able to take the win in the sprint, and that is exactly what we're going to try and do. This is the day that Toms Skujinš gets his stage win. Anyway, we will flick back to the peloton, who are just over 5.5 minutes down, and NSN have decided to come to the front and launch a lead out for Biniam Girmay. So we might have competition in the green jersey finally, after a couple of stages where there have been no interest in the intermediate sprint points. But here we go, we're going to take Simmons on the inside and Girmay goes on the outside. We're going to try and slot onto the wheel of the Eritrean and try and move past. We might just get the slingshot through, and on the bike throw, Mads Pedersen does indeed get there. There were some other sprinters as well, Dole and Kwiatkowski for some reason, but we take 4 more points for our green jersey hopes with Mads Pedersen and beat our main rival Girmay. Pogacar getting 0. 51 kilometres of the stage remain. The gap is over 5.5 minutes to the breakaway. I do think that this is going to be a stage for the breakaway because of that descent heading into the flat section to the line, but we have already got fractures in the group. Castrillo and Caruso have gone onto the attack. It's a good move from Movistar because that means that Jan Uiterbrooks can just sit back in the group and let them do the work, watching from the wheels on this first climb of the day. It is a Category 3 labelled climb. It's a fairly long one, but steady gradients, so should be an easier one for Skujinš to get over than the Category 1 that will come ahead of us, but we are slowly traipsing our way back to this leading duo. I think we just have to follow all of the attacks that end up going and make sure we are in that front group at all times, because I think we can dust the rest of this breakaway in a sprint. We just need to be there with enough fitness to be able to execute said sprint. But less than a kilometre to go until the top of the climb. We'll just go for the points because why not? Skjelmose is so far ahead that we might as well try and get second place as well in the King of the Mountains classification. With Toms Skujinš, off goes Caruso, off goes Castrillo, but through the middle, we save our energy and we take the 2 points. And we are going to try and press on down this descent to make sure that that group cannot get back. And if they do, they will use up a lot of energy to do so. latter stages of the final climb of the day, and it is still a group of 3 at the front. Caruso is still here with us, but instead of Castrillo, you've got Van Wilder, who has joined us from the chasing group, but we have attacked over the top of the climb, taken 10 points, and are trying our best to string this one out once more and use up the energy of the rest of our breakaway counterparts. 10.5 minutes is the gap, which means it's going to be a day for the breakaway, and a larger group will end up contesting this sprint, you'd think, but Tejada has stumbled on that corner, and now Toms Skujinš has a gap, and you do not want to give Toms Skujinš a gap on this terrain, especially if you are lightweight climbers who cannot take him on in a sprint. Toms Skujinš is sprinting out of the saddle now, under 1 kilometre to go, and it's a time trial effort to the line. He has completely torched the rest of the group, and Toms Skujinš, the Latvian, is going to win stage 13 and finally take a deserved victory in a Grand Tour for Lidl Trek. Behind, though, the sprinters teams are trying to launch to get a couple of points, of course, because only 11 riders were in that breakaway, and they will be coming across the line in dribs and drabs while this peloton goes and battles it out. We're on board with the green jersey at the moment of Mads Pedersen, who takes the inside line through that important right-hander and is in prime position at the moment for the sprint. The likes of Arnaud Delis and Biniam Girmay have made it over, but can they position themselves correctly in this sprint? It looks as if not, because Pedersen down the centre, like Skujinš did, has completely dispensed with the rest of the group. Joy for cycling fans globally, or, well, localised entirely within my recording room, because Toms Skujinš has won stage 13, and we can tick him off. We can add him to the list, and we have now got 4 of our 8 riders a stage win at this tour. Toms Skujinš wins the stage ahead of Jonas Aguirre, Ilan van Wilder, Harold Tejada, and Egan Bernal, rounding out the top 5 in the GC. There has been no real movement at all. All of the GC competitors have stayed within each other's time, but Toms Skujinš has moved his way into 10th place. I doubt he'll be keeping that on the final 2 stages of the week, which are both mountain stages, so enjoy this GC calm while it lasts, and do not miss the next video. Subscribe for that if you don't want to miss it, and if you're new to the channel, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.